How's everybody doing? Okay, we are going to continue our series of compatibility and incompatibility of signs. The break in this series by introducing clinical pathology of relationships dynamics outside of the field of astrology was something to give you as a little extra. But the sadomasochist part became a mini series in itself. And I still have a lot to cover with that series. So I figured, let me go back to the compatibility sign and do the taping of this in the day. It's now 12:58 p.m. in the afternoon. So in the evening, like around 2, 1 in the morning, I will do the rest of the mini series of the sadomasochistic pathology and then go into the self-sufficiency as well. Okay, but I'm going to do the compatibility and incompatibility of signs series now because I'm on crunch time and I have a lot to cover, and I certainly don't want to violate my contract, with YouTube. So let me get this done. So today we are gonna talk about incompatibility of signs. We are gonna talk about Scorpio and Sagittarius. Holler to my sister Sharon, who is a Sagittarius and is involved in a relationship with a Scorpio. Now, Sharon, this is not going to mirror your relationship, but it's going to mirror the archetypical generic format that this relationship dynamic can bring. So my sister can benefit from this particular video, and hopefully all of you out there. Now, of course, as always and as usual, we are going to begin with the comparison of nature and this combination. You have the scorpion and you have the horse. I mean, so small. And the horse, a good kick from a horse, it don't matter where in the body it kicks you, you're gonna die. You're gonna die. It's going to rupture organs. Oh no, you're going to die if you get a swift kick from a horse. Oh yeah. But then again, the scorpion, if the horse is not watchful, can take down that horse. So we got two polarizing forces. Because Sagittarius represents a force of nature on its own. But so does the Scorpion. Always, though, on opposite sides of the wick. A relationship, again, a Scorpio can get along and can be compatible with anyone. Or he could be incompatible with anyone. So it really depends on the Scorpion if he wants to be compatible to you or not. 9 times out of 10, they really don't. If you're going to be with a Scorpion, it has to be on his terms. Understand that I don't care what or she tells you. We are astrologers and we know the sign. We are the boss. Not them. We are the boss. Without us, there are no signs of the zodiac. And we're the only niggas that are able to understand all of these beings and the real cosmic and spiritual purpose of their existence. And I'm going to tell you now, that way I can save you a lot of headache and probably some heartache. If you do not like the tactics and the psychological nature of Scorpio, do not get involved with them. Do not get involved. And I tell anybody that. If you cannot handle a Scorpion, I have someone, my sister always comes to me, with a situation, or other women when it comes to the Scorpio man. And sometimes I feel like I speaking to these women and it goes out the other way. It goes in and it goes back out. Even my own sister has admitted that, oh, Fernando, when you tell me that goes one ear and out the other. Oh, well, damn. How's that helping you? How's that working for you? I mean, let's not waste each other's time here. You know? A Scorpio's energy is demanding, relentless, unyielding, unforgivable, but quite deliberate. Quite deliberate. If a Scorpio is in your life, and he's in your life for a reason. And trust me when I tell you that the universe sent him to you. So either you need structure or you need discipline. Well, again, the story of Ike Turner and Tina Turner. He was a Scorpio. She is a Sagittarius. Like my sister and her boyfriend. You know? And interestingly enough, you see a similar dynamic. With this sign, either it is a match made in heaven or a match made in hell. Okay? So, let's begin with the basics. Fire and water. This is an elemental square. So, already we're off to not such a good start. And then you have the modality. You have immutable and fixed. Now that can work. That can work. The one that will be compromising here will be the Sagittarian. But with the Sagittarian, you got to be careful. That could be tricky. That could be tricky in many ways. Because even though the Sag is mutable fire, there's something about a fixity nature about him or about her. As mutable and as changeable and as adaptable as they are, when it comes to their mental philosophy, it is as fixed as granite. That constitution never changes. So that makes him mentally, psychologically fixed. And many astrologers really don't touch on that with Sagittarian. See, because Sagittarius is not going to give up his philosophy for nobody. For nobody. And that in itself is a form of fixity. So this working out because of the mutable modality with the fixed modality might also be an illusion. It's a mixed bag. This will be the type of combination where you have to have a birth chart done or a composite chart or a synastry chart to see how both energies blend together and see if there's true compatibility deeper within the surface that we don't see out in the surface. But that requires professional charting to go more detailed into specific and see if there's something else going on here. Okay? So, you have a elemental square, but you have a workable modality of fixed and mutable. So, this should work. Now, where do we see this in nature? This combination? Well, we can talk about fire and water, the magma that collides with the salt water, which creates the continents. And I've used that analogy with fire and water combinations, each in different varieties and intensity. A volcano is another aspect of this combination. Okay, a sleeping volcano that hasn't awoken in a century or so suddenly erupts out of nowhere, out of the blue. And now we got a situation in our hands as far as nature and our situation globally. So that in itself, not so much the volcano, because the volcano symbolizes Taurus and Sag. So when we're dealing with Scorpio and Sag, we're dealing with the potential of that volcanic eruption. So that means that the relationship between a Sagittarian and a Scorpio will be rather intense and will be held on anticipation. I might get cut off because I'm using my phone because my camcorder mysteriously stopped working. And I have no idea what's wrong, no way of fixing it. This is the retrograde. So now that I found another way to do it, now it's fucking with me in this way as well. So if I get caught up, forgive me. We are in a retrograde and I'm a Virgo, and we get affected deeply by retrogrades and in the work that we do. And my Mercury is also on my ascendant. So it's one of the toughest time in the year for me. You know, emotionally and psychologically dealing with the retrogrades. It really sucks. It really gets in the way. So let me see if I can say as much as I can before I get cut off. Again, that is in nature the parallel in personality and ego expression of this combination is by a silent volcano. And the potential for that volcano to erupt. The longer a volcano goes without eruption, the more intense the eruption when it does occur. Okay? And it's that intensity that symbolizes this combination for both the man and the woman of each sign. Okay? So we are going to jump right in, and we are going to go into specificities. Okay, we're going to go into specificities of this combination. Let's start with the Scorpio man and the Sagittarian woman. But let me give you a few generics first. So you have to understand that when Scorpio and Sagittarius come together for love and for a kind of a relationship, it's an intense love or hate affair with plenty of cosmic chemistry in between. Now, these two spiritual warriors can easily butt heads, but can also complete or complement each other when they play on each other's strengths. They can be allies, partners in crime, tag team champions. The analogy of the wrestling match fits this combination, where you have on one side of the ring Scorpio, and then you have Sag on the other end, and the referee in the middle. Ding, 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 ding. They go at it. And at one point, the Scorpion seems to be winning. He seems to be winning. And the Sagittarian is getting tore up. You know? And just before the Sagittarian succumbs, she throws one swift kick and throws the Scorpio right back to its corner. Now the tables have turned, and now it is the Sagittarian kicking the butt of the Scorpion. And God forbid that those hooves of that horse doesn't crush the poison of that Scorpion, because the needle of the Scorpion of the sack will not be able to penetrate the hoof of a horse. The Scorpion will end up being destroyed. But then again, the Scorpion doesn't mind, because that's part of his nature and part of his design. If they work together on one side of the arena, and then you have the other side, the opposing force, both the Scorpio and the Sagittarian together, tag team and kick ass, and together they win the trophy. They win the trophy, and they both carry it together. Okay? And that can be quite beautiful. When they work together, it could be like Bonnie and Clyde. Or it could be like the cartoon that we grew up watching in the 80s, Heckle and Jekyll, or Tom and Jerry. No, the Sagittarian man or woman will be able to uplift the attitude and morbidity of Scorpio. You have to understand that Sagittarian precedes Scorpio. So Sagittarius is higher in evolution of the human condition than Scorpio. The imperfections of Scorpios becomes perfected by the time it reaches Sagittarius. Remember, Sagittarius is the number 9. The spiritual and cosmic significance of the number 9 is completion. Completion of work, completion of thought, completion of something that has reached its highest form of maturity and level of expression. It's non-ego-centered. It's more cosmic-centered. It is in Sagittarius that we begin the process of returning back to God, which culminates in Pisces, when we throw ourselves back to the black hole of the unknown, which is our true home, where we come from, as we leave the flesh behind and we return to God. That begins with Sagittarius. Whereas the Scorpio energy is far more selfish and far more self-preserving. If the Scorpio learns to evolve that before he dies, he's on his way towards a higher level of vibration that the Sagittarian incarnation in the next life will be able to then award him as he goes up the spiral upwards into the human evolution through Jacob's ladder. Right? So understand that it will be the Sagittarian holding the hand of the Scorpion to bring him up. Now, this all sounds very nice, talking about it spiritually, cosmically, altruistically. But then, a Sagittarian-Scorpio relationship is never boring, since both understand each other's need for truth and passion. Without truth and passion, the Scorpio will not respect you. One thing I do have to say about Scorpios, very rarely do they lie. The only way that they lie is by omission, but they don't really outright lie. The Scorpion doesn't have to do that unless he's being cruel. And neither does Sagittarius. They hate liars, can't stand liars. So they both share in this altruistic philosophy of truth and dignity that comes with it. And because of that, the mutual respect exists among them. That still doesn't mean, though, that they're not going to play games with each other. Okay? This is sweet red wine. Very sweet. Rosado. It's basically, I don't want to be sexist, but when I bought it at the liquor store, they're like, oh, is this for your girlfriend or your wife? Because you should have this wine. Then I usually drink dry wine. But because I'm on, meds over the pneumonia situation, and the doctor said I could have such sweet red wine because it's good for the blood, and they took a lot of blood. So this helps restore the bone marrow, that kind of stuff. So understand that the Sagittarian relationship, by definition, should be compatible. But it won't be the compatible aspect that we attribute to the regular rudimentaries like the elemental square, the modality, what works, what doesn't work. In this particular instance, it will be compatible through spiritual conviction. Because as quiet as it's kept, Scorpio is very spiritual. He knows he's spiritual, and he knows that he has it within him to go up and just blow out the box. Scorpio understands the game of this life. And that's why he's so masterful at such self-discipline emotionally, that it can drive the Sagittarian crazy. This is especially true if we're talking about the Scorpio man and the Sagittarian woman. See? The Sagittarian woman can be kind of rather gullible. That doesn't mean that she's not smart or intelligent or astute. It has nothing to do with gullibility. Gullibility, if you really look at the psychology of someone who's gullible or someone who engages, because we all have been there at some point, to a certain degree of show a certain level of gullibility. Understand that that is natural and it's very charming for the Sagittarian. The Sagittarian man and woman, they can be very bubbly, very oop-oop-be-doop, and it's so sexy and cute. The same thing for Miss Aries or Mr. Aries, the baby. And don't let me go with Leo. Leo is the adolescent that never grows up. So understand that with the fire signs, there's always a certain level of innocence, naivete, or gullibility. And the Scorpion will see it. He will see it a mile away. Just like a shark will smell blood miles away from the carcass. If you cut yourself, just a small little cut, and you're in the ocean, that little cut, 3 miles, a shark will already know that you're cut in the water. It's deep. So understand that the Scorpio have that same radar. And then they will proceed to either act in a predatory way or dismiss it. Because again, if the Scorpio is not moved to head your direction, then don't even bother heading to him or her. Because they're not interested. But should he be interested in you, Miss Sag? Understand that a couple of things are going to take place. One of them will be that he's going to try to get to know you. The less he knows about you, the more intrigued he is about you. Okay? So, he's going to find ways. Remember, Scorpio is an emotional sign, but you will never know it because they don't emote. There's no emotional exposition on their part or psychological exposition. But you best believe that they're going to do everything in their power to figure you out, figure out what makes you tick, and they will employ a host of things to try to get you to react. Because in the reaction that they push buttons, they get to know you better. They get to understand your psychology. And they can do two things with that information about you. Use it against you to destroy you, or use it for you, and it'll still feel like it's against you in order to help you evolve. Either way, the process will not be cute, will not be pleasant, and will not be comfortable. A relationship with a Scorpio will change you. You will not be the same person again without that experience. So understand that when you're with a Scorpio, as a Sag woman, you're going to feel stupid. You're going to feel invalidated. You're going to feel feelings that you never thought you had. You're going to feel about yourself in ways that you never thought before, both in a good way and in a bad way. Even rage can erupt out of you when you're with a Scorpio. Oh, trust me. And they are designed to do this. Let me tell you, I'm the one to talk. He bears scars, but I also have some scars. It's not easy to go against a Scorpio. You have to be ready psychologically and even physically to lose your life in the process. Oh no, this energy is extremely serious. There's nothing funny or light about this constellation and this star in which these beings come from. The same thing with Leo and Taurus and Aquarius. These are the kick-ass motherfuckers of the zodiac that in order to cause change with these fake signs, the heavens literally have to shake. The stars will literally have to fall from their places. Just terrifying because, like I mentioned before, space is a very terrifying place. And that same terrifying place, though, has a passion about it that without it, There's no reason to live. So you want to experience it. You want to go in, and I'm sorry, we're out of time.